In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, you lovely gumpers. Who doesn't like a nice, good gump in the mornings? How you doing? On Bon Dia Alegria. Look at this. Coach Turner's in already. Bon Dia Todos. Looking forward to chatting in an hour or so. Oh, this was reported at 8 o'clock this morning. So up and ready. Looking forward to chatting in an hour or so. Gentle fitness questions. Welcome to, or any other nonsense. Come to that. Yes, of course. Naturally, in the nation of gumpers here, this riotous assembly. In the only way we know how. And good morning to the prof. So see you soon, coach. Oh, actually, while we're there, look, this is the message from the coach. And these are the pictures of the coach, fresh in from the Algarve. He is our role model. Look at this man here. Looking very fine, I have to say, Coach Turner, down there enjoying your holiday in the Algarve. And when I'm talking about role models, this is how I want to look in my 60s. Look at this man here. Racing Snake. I think Racing Snake is a compliment, isn't it? It's something I learned from Terry Wogan, listening to Terry Wogan for 300 years on the backseat of my parents' car, of course, as many of others of you may have been subjected to. And then, of course, subjecting my own children to Terry Wogan there in the UK on BBC Radio 2, a great broadcasting hero of mine. But I think Racing Snake's okay to say. And also, yeah, broadcasters from around the world. Who did you have to listen to when you were a child? And then who did you subject your children to if that broadcaster was still on the air? Terry Wogan had an amazing career. So, yeah, there I was. Probably remember the first broadcaster I could hear in my ears, and then all the way through to subjecting that onto my kids as I took them to school as well. And then, of course, weeping in the bath as I listened to his last broadcast. It's funny, isn't it? How broadcasters can become a part of your life like that. God bless you. Rest in peace, Terry Wogan. But yes, onwards and upwards for those of us who are aging, growing old disgracefully, and of course the bon viveurs who want a bit of gentle fitness, and that's what the coach is here to do after 9 o'clock this morning. And we've got some exercise video action for you, and we'll be talking to him live from his James Bond abode, it looks like to me anyway, down there in the Algarve. Should we have a quick preview then of what life is like in the Algarve this morning? Got lots of lovely photos, got Chameleon action as well from the Algarve, and all your lovely comments and contributions and questions. It's Feel Good Friday. Whoa! Just a little preface then. This is what the coach arrived to at. This is what he's enjoying in the Algarve. Let's just sit back and relax and enjoy this for a moment as we begin Feel Good Friday. Yum. Yes. Isn't that beautiful? Fair to say, I think he's been in a cold and damp UK and must have run around like a spring lamb on that beach when he first cast his eyes and feast his eyes upon it with family down there in the Algarve. So looking forward to talking to you at 9, Coach Turner. Staying in the south of the country, and we've had this... I'm mixed up. I'm confused now. I think this is the big... yeah, there it is. That's from Dougie. Dougie's been sending in the wonderful 2-minute tasters. Today's later on from the Alentejo is Mertola. Great 2-minute taster from Dougie in the Alentejo. But these are the great Alentejo skies. This is a sunset from the other day. Now, I'll bring that back on towards the end of the show because that's what we like to do. Sunsets and sunrises. Thank you so much to Doug as well for the little travel logs. They're so good. And we'll feature another one of those today. And we have them for days to come, everybody, as I'm sure we have today in Portuguese history as well today from the prof. So I love all these contributions. Marty, whose wonderful illustrations we shared yesterday, was absolutely chuffed Now, that's a word that probably doesn't translate well around the world. But anyway, very happy is what I'll say. Delighted to see his illustrations featured on the show. It's an absolute pleasure to share work of such quality. Where is that work? Yeah, here it is. Marty, thank you so much. And T-Duck, he's working on more caricatures of you, I understand. And he's also enjoying the Bubble Off Centre podcast, which is, of course, the storm drain of the Good Morning Portugal show, and we'll be doing that at 10:30 today. So Munson and the Ducks Bubble Off Centre live stream and podcast, where we dare to go there. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, while we're in that section of the picture deck there, did anyone have a guess at this yesterday? Who is this handsome fellow from this community? Guess the Gumper. That's live and ready for your guesses at the moment. Who is that who's just come off stage in Kentish Town in London there? And we've got another one as well. This is a beautiful photograph as well. Handsome fellows, aren't they, here in this community? In 1965 is the year. Peace Corps training, Annapolis, Maryland, bound for India. Who is this very handsome gentleman in 1965? Still a handsome so-and-so to this day. But who is this from our Gumper community? Isn't that the Kennedy era? Looking good there, sir. 1965. Guess that Gumper as well. So 2 live at the moment. Or is it 3? I think I might have another one whilst you have a little look at that and try and guess who that is. We have another one for you. Who is this? Gumper. No, only kidding. That's a chameleon. Thank you very much to Linda Colquhoun, down there in the Algarve, who is a great fan of the chameleon. And I have a video as well of chameleons in her garden. And she showcased. If you're not on Wildlife in Portugal on Facebook, you really ought to be if you love the fauna of Portugal. And it's very clearly is Wildlife in Portugal is wildlife. It's not plants. And you know, some Facebook groups are very strict, and I think Wildlife in Portugal is quite strict as well. Animals, wildlife that are featured there, and this is where I came across Linda's fabulous video. That's a still from her amazing video of a chameleon sat on her garden fence. Isn't that amazing to see that? I've only ever seen them in pet shops and zoos. I would love to see a chameleon in the wild. No guessing who that Gumper is. That could end up quite rude, couldn't it? In this community. And I do have a video to play. Let me just see if it's ready yet, because I'll do that now and play that for you and go into a little bit. Yes, I can play that for you. That's why I was a couple of minutes late this morning, because I was busy editing chameleon videos, as you do first thing in the morning. So uploading for you now. Actually, no, while that's uploading onto our video sharing deck, let me just go to a little bit of news about Algarve chameleon in the spotlight in Castro Marim. Let me just tell you about this news article. I think we'll stay with the Portugal resident to get an update on that dropping of restrictions, or the easing of pandemic restrictions as well. But first of all, let me just tell you about the Algarve chameleon in the spotlight. I think there's more than one. Pressure's on if there's just that one Algarve chameleon in the spotlight. But I think they do need our care, attention, and support. And you know how it is with when you come over here as an expat, often expats like to pick up a cause, don't they, and give something back to the country. This might be your thing, helping the chameleon population of oh, sorry, I'm giggling because I made an inappropriate joke with Mrs. M earlier this morning. I said, look at these I was looking through the chameleon videos with Mrs. M in bed this morning. I was thinking, these are amazing, aren't they? Thank you, Linda, very much, by the way, for sharing these with me and allowing me to share them on the screen. Linda Attenborough down there in the Algarve. And I said, they make a good curry, you know. And she said, what? And I said, yes, the Kerma chameleon. Not really. You mustn't do that, okay? Castelmani Market is hosting, I should have played the dad joke warning there, shouldn't I? Thank you for that, Warren. Castelmani Market is hosting an exhibition showcasing photos of chameleons, a lizard species which in Portugal is only found in the Algarve. What happens then? Do they get to the Alentejo border and think, well, I'm not going there? Along with some interesting information about these peculiar animals. If you're listening, chameleons, that is meant respectfully, you peculiar animal. The exhibition entitled Conhecer a Chameleon, Getting to Know the Chameleon, will remain on display until April the 30th. Oh, that's because they got plenty of time. Nice trip down to the Algarve. Go see this, Castro Money. And it can be visited every day between 9 and 1, 2:30 and 5:30. Oh, my goodness, that reminds me. I do have other posters. Thank you, Andy. Andy, the Porky Feet, for the posters you send in. And don't forget to send in news from all over Portugal Oh, and the update, of course, from Dave and Debbie, the Valentine's do, where they were raising money for the dog sanctuary down there in the Algarve, was really successful. The Belters played, well, like Belters do, and they had a great fundraising event down there. I'll see if I could come back to that. Or if you want to put something live in the chat, if you're watching this morning, Dave and Debbie do. But I digress. It is part this Chameleon exhibition, Conhecer o Chameleon, is part of the Projeto Chameleon, which has three main goals: to raise awareness about the importance of chameleon conservation, to expose threats to chameleons in order to minimize them, to minimize the threats, not the chameleons, and to improve knowledge about the geographic distribution and biology of the species by promoting scientific work. And you might walk past a chameleon. If it's true that they blend into their surroundings and change color, you might have walked past hundreds of them in the Algarve and not noticed them blending into azulejo tiles or the shop front. Just see an eye. If you're really slow, really careful, you might just see an eye looking at you. Otherwise, completely blended in and invisible. So Castro Marine Council says it has been working towards these goals by protecting local dunes through a series of ecological and sustainable projects. Wow, they like to go on the beach, like Coach Turner, as well as the completion of a project to safeguard the dunes of Altura Beach, which it says is essential to the preservation of coastal ecosystems. And we like to get on the beach and muck about in the dunes, whatever that means. But sometimes that we are impinging on the ecosystem, aren't we? The habitat of certain creatures, and that seems to be what's happening here. So let's do all we can to help the chameleons in the Algarve. That might become your special giving back project if you're that way inclined as an expat when you settle here. Look at them, they're so beautiful, aren't they? What a lovely exhibition there. Pictures from that exhibition, which is on until the 30th of April. And zooming in there, well, I'm not actually zooming in. I'm just focusing in on that chameleon's paw. I mean, they're quite extraordinary. It's like they've got little oven gloves on. And I'm a big fan of Jazz FM in the UK. And Chameleons, Listening Colour is their strapline. And the chameleon has always been their mascot there. So big up to the chameleons of the Algarve. And here's a little bit of video for you now. Thank you to Linda for this. Oh, I'm playing. I'm going to talk over this because there's no sound on this. But isn't that amazing? If you were a little fertile about in your garden in the Algarve, and this little fella or lady pops out, look at that, incredible. And I think that's probably the basic color that they come in until they adapt to their surroundings, right? I did say to Mrs. M, it's quite rat-like as well. You might mistake that for a slow-moving rat when you see the big tail at first, and it's not in its bright green there. Isn't that lovely? Thank you so much, Linda, for that. That should go in the show notes, shouldn't it? Or on the forum. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, Linda. Comments. We haven't done any yet. 1:45 already, and we're barely through saying hello to everybody. But thank you for indulging me for a moment in the chameleon chat there for a moment. Anybody had anything to say about that before we go back to your earlier comments from 2 o'clock this morning? Laura P. Portugal is lifting restriction. Date not yet said, but might be 21st of February. Official news on Estamos in English too. I'll go to the Portugal resident for that, but thank you very much. And radio stations. That's fantastic. I love to hear about the broadcasters that you grew up with. Not much about chameleons, or I can't see it yet anyway. But we'll go to your earlier comments this morning. Let's see. Yes, 8 o'clock, the earliest. Amazing. You're amazing. Morning, Pete. Yes, thank you. Noted, Pete. We're doing all we can to support said lady and family. And yes, morning, Owen. That's the early birds, isn't it? Just saying hello to each other. Today in Portuguese history, 1947, Carlos Lopes, long distance runner, is born. That's a very fitting one. I think Prof. Eusebio knew what was happening this morning and gave us a Today in Portuguese history with a fitness and an athletic flavour. Long distance runner is born, Carlos Lopes, 1947. He wins Portugal's first Olympic gold medal in the marathon at the 84 Olympics in LA. Oh, I remember those. He ran an Olympic record time of 2 hours, 9 minutes and 21 seconds. If you're training, if part of your not very gentle fitness for bon viveurs is shaping up for a marathon, don't forget to ask Ian Turner for his counsel and coaching this morning. He'll be with us after 9. And look at this. An accident almost prevented Lopes from participating in the 1984 Summer Olympics in LA when a week before the Games, he was run over by a car in Lisbon, but he was not hurt. He's a cat as well, isn't he? With 9 lives. That's an amazing backstory, isn't it, to his Olympic victory? So not only run over by a car in Lisbon and surviving it, but then going on to get the gold in LA in 1984 in the marathon there. Thank you very much for that, Prof. Lopes. Prof continues, appears in the 14th episode of the season 12 of The Simpsons. What? As Homer is watching a documentary about the Olympics' greatest moments on TV. And I think it's almost becoming true to say that everything, even you, people watching this, you appear on The Simpsons. There are so many episodes of The Simpsons that if you watch closely enough, you will see yourself on there because they've predicted everything, haven't they? And all of human history is covered in some way as Homer turns on the telly at certain points during the show there. Baldylocks is here. Good to see you on the webinar last night. Baldylocks, how you doing? And Lopes also is credited with being the oldest ever winner of the marathon at 38 and inspires Homer. This is carrying on with The Simpsons now, who claims to be almost his age to enter the Springfield Marathon. Lopes was actually 37. This is great information. Thank you very much. Our pub quiz team is going to be awesome. And a very inspiring, says Pete, as always, to Midlife Crisis World Tour, a.k.a. the Prof, and appropriate this morning. Of course it is. Antonio Pinto was also a great Portuguese marathon runner, says the coach. And if memory serves me correctly, owned a winery and drank red wine every day. What a legend! A great example for us all. Red wine every day and a Portuguese marathon runner. Running up and down the vineyard, a little bit of extra training in the unstable terrain, perhaps, of the winery there. Amazing. Bom dia, alegria from Mati. Todos de Amsterdam. Feliz sexta-feira. The only day with sex in it here in Portugal. Good morning to you. Bom dia, Carl and friends, to a wet fudge. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that you've got a wet fudge this morning, Kate. My garden is happy. Happy gardens all over. Yeah, a little bit. I've got the window open in the studio. Very, very mild. Absolutely lovely, the temperature. Yeah, oh, yes, let me just show you a lovely picture sent in from Cindy B. Morning, Kate. And morning, Cindy B. Oh, I think is here as well this morning. Sent in a beautiful photo of San Martino Bay yesterday. And you described it beautifully as well. I drove past this yesterday. Went to see Kate, actually. Saw Kate yesterday. And on the way back from Kate's house, let me just do this in the right order. On the way back from Kate's house, took mum and the kids to Óbidos Lagoon. Look at the colours there at Óbidos Lagoon. Very mild as well. That was about, 5 in the afternoon in the Óbidos Lagoon. Oh, talking of time checks and light and heat as well. Let me go back a step further. And here, these aren't, you could be forgiven for thinking those fine and athletic legs belong to the coach, but they are Deagle's fine legs. They're also in the Algarve. And that's 5:45 in the evening, getting some vitamin D, much needed vitamin D, as he says it's called in Ireland as well there. 5:45 in the evening, still sunbathing in the Algarve. How good is that? But yes, back to the Óbidos Lagoon. That's the light around a similar sort of time. And the kids really enjoyed having a little poke about in the sand there at the Óbidos Lagoon. Mum enjoying that as well, seeing the fish in the water. And then as we drove back, we saw this. Look at this. This is the bay at San Martino de Porto with a very low level of cloud. And we all marveled at that as we drove past. I was thinking, I'd love a photograph of that. And lo and behold, in it comes from Cindy B. And let me just give you the right legend for that picture. Our infinitely photogenic bay. Absolutely right. Thank you very much for that. There, Cindy B. Oh, I've lost you. Where did you go? Oh, there you go. Got the browser back now. The coach, Turner, is literally limbering up in the green room and giving us a little bit of a wave. There'll be... He's drinking red wine. No, he's not yet. So there you go. The lovely picture. I bet he has been, though. I bet he's been trying a few of the Portuguese reds while he's been enjoying life here in the south of the country. So let's have a few more greetings, shall we, before we go to see the coach? Because we haven't even got to Stephen and George, fixtures and fittings of the show. Bon dia, Gria, Gumper Nation from T-Duck, Stephen Wright from him as well. Quote of the day, I have an inferiority complex, but it's not a very good one. Well, hey, of course. Thank you very much, Stephen Wright. Thank you to you now, George Carlin. Carlin and Wright quotes every day here. And where are those Portuguese quotes? Come on, hit us with them, maybe in the Portuguese and then the translation after. It will help, won't it? There's a humorous side to every situation. The challenge is to find it. So true, George. Thank you very much. If I feel Homer, then it is rather Simpson than the poet. Yes, indeed, as it is with so many of us, I'm afraid to say. Isn't he I held the coach up as a great role model, that wonderful picture that I was able to show of him enjoying the south of Portugal. Homer has become a little bit of a motif and an emblem, hasn't he, for modern man, which is a terrible thing, really, isn't it? Early gumpers, always click the like button. Just general housekeeping there. If you're an early gumper, and as I said, who doesn't like a good old gump in the mornings, always click the like button, which Jeff is doing. He's agreeing, and I'm sure he's clicked as well. Great to see you last night, Jeff, as well. Today in Portuguese history 2, a number 2 for you now, 1071 Battle of Pedroso near Braga. Count Nuno Mendes. What? We've got one of those. Count Nuno Mendes desired the Portuguese title and fought the battle with Garcia II of Galicia, who defeated Nuno Mendes. Oh, sorry to hear that. Even as an expat, I don't like to hear of a defeat of the Portuguese. The then country of Portugal was subsumed into the crowns of Galicia and Leon until re-granted by King Alfonso VI of Leon and Castile a quarter century later. Bad 25 years for Portugal there, right? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. But I think you detailed that for us recently, didn't you, when King Alfonso divided things back up again. That was a good move, I think, for the Iberian Peninsula, and a good move for us, certainly, right? We've inherited the goodness of that redistribution of land. Thank you, King Alfonso VI. Happy Friday to you all, wonderful gumpers from the OLP. How you doing, OLP, this morning? And Cindy P from the OLP to the Cindy B. It's like Super Bowl halftime again. The OLP to the Cindy B. And now Baddy. Hello, Baddy. Bon dia, folks. Happy Friday. And Francis, hi, Baddy. Yes, we need to speak, Baddy, for all sorts of reasons, okay? Drop me a line if you will, 913-590-303. I need to talk to you. And thank you. Bon dia, Algria Torres from Francis in Cape Town. Bon fin de semana. This is one I really look forward to. Been so busy. Hope everyone is good. Great to be here. Nice Portuguese bean reference there. Lonnie's here as well. Bon dia, todos. Good morning to you, Lonnie. And James is here too. Look at that. Bon dia, Gumpers. Feliz sexta a todos. Estudando português por 50 minutos ontem. Very good. Keeping it up every day. James, good man. Sound a bit like Wogan myself there. Good man yourself. I agree. Glad it's Friday, says Jeff to Francis. It's Feel Good Friday, everybody. Great to see Moaz on the call last night as well. Moaz, how you doing? Bon dia, Carla Torres and Pam Smith. Everyone's coming in for a bit of bon viveur, gentle fitness this morning. Morning, Pam. How are you doing? Bon dia, Torres. Os Gompers. Feliz sexta-feira from Pedro Gomes as well. Good morning to you. How you doing, Pedro? Came up with another language memory mnemonic. Mnemonic. The other day, Mrs. Carrot, Senora. Very good. Remember that, everybody. This is how James remembers his vocabulary. That's a good one. Others are welcome in the comments this morning. Oh, actually, while I remember as well, that's how it works here, isn't it? While I remember. I saved a picture. Tama, you remember Tama, our favorite American comedian, our favorite living American comedian, Tama Katan. Is here. He's going to be. Where's it gone? Where's the picture gone? Oh, here he is. He's going to be joining us on Monday. Of course, Monday is Migration Monday. But Tamo got in touch with the show. He's got some Porto dates coming up. I'm going to have a quick chat with him in the first hour of the show on Monday. Always enjoy greatly talking to Tama Katan. Stand-up comedy show in English. You might want to go to this one. Lonnie and others up in Porto. Tama Katan and Victor Patrascan. That rhymes as well, doesn't it? An American and a Romanian walk into a bar. What could possibly go wrong? And he'll tell us the dates for the Porto shows. There's quite a few gold leaves there, aren't there? Gold Leaf Awards in comedy there. Victor looks a little bit uncomfortable. Not quite as comfortable there as Tama does. And we'll talk to Tama Katan on Monday. Looking forward to that already. So join us on Monday for that. He'll bring good cheer for a Monday morning. But look, it's Feel Good Friday now. Stay in the Friday. Don't be looking forward to the future just yet. Enjoy the moment. And the power of now, of course. The webinar last night was great as usual. I learned so much from Sarah about transferring money. There you go. You don't have to walk through through the airport, arrivals with a big old overcoat and dark glasses and suitcases full of cash. Spartan FX will take care of it for you. They won't do that either, by the way. I was subjected to the Goon Show. Okay, what were you subjected to as a kid in terms of broadcasting? But I'm so glad to have listened to that. It was where my sense of humor was formed. Well, what a lineup, eh? Sellers and Milligan in there, quite incredible. Bon dia, Carl, from a sunny Albufeira, from Deagle. We showed your legs earlier on. My mum worked from home and listened to Piccadilly Radio in Manchester. Mike Sweeney and Susie Mathis and Mike Shaft. Yes, Mike Shaft. That's a great name for radio, isn't it? Superb names there. Thank you, Pam, very much for that. And when you're a kid, that is like passive listening, isn't it? You have to listen to what your parents are listening to. Is your name Tony? Baldilocks. There was a guy last night from the webinar who looked like you and his Anne. I think his name was Tony. His name was Tony. Like I said yesterday, first one, Michael Heron, I believe. No, it's not Michael Heron. Let's just bring that back onto the screen. It's a good guess because he's a handsome so-and-so as well, isn't he? But that is not Michael Heron. Guess again, which is a phrase we use in this house that gets subjected on the children. Is that W.C. Fields? Takes a girl out for a drink. What would you like to drink, my dear? Champagne, I guess. Guess again. I like that. I think you'll be using that later on today. Try it at home. No, not Michael Heron. Tony, yes, his name was Tony. That's actually in that song, isn't it? His name was Tony. Bon dia, amazing day in the sun yesterday. Yes, and we've got your picture. Jack Polly, just specially for James Holly there. Your picture here of Mr. Polly. Is this a bit of a rain sit? Are you hoping for rain to help the reservoirs? Or you just want to get rid of that last cloud so you can have a completely blue sky there? I wasn't sure what you meant, Jack. Let us know what you mean there. But that's a fine sight. 2 beers Polly there, or is one of those yours? There's some sort of gender glassing going on there, isn't there? With like a traditional fella's glass and possibly a lady's glass on the right there. I'm not sure if that is what's going on there, but either way, it's what's in it that counts, right? And 2 beers, 1 cloud. What a beautiful scene. Thank you very much for that. Paolo Coimbra is here as well. Bon dia to you, Paolo. How are you this morning? That beer's been on there a little bit too long for my liking. It's making me thirsty. It's making me thirsty. Thirsty! Can't wait until July. Hello, bon dia, Asturos. That's what I'm missing most is the beer quench. But I did get that to some extent from the non-alcoholic beers, I have to say. And the Estrella one, I'm sad to say, is really good. Tried it the other day. The bad wins, bad marriages, and good non-alcoholic beer comes from Spain, you know. Hello, bon dia, todos, from Laura P. And yes, that we've identified you, Baldilocks there. I did send you a private message. I do that from time to time. Watch out for that in the Zoom meetings. I send people private messages, and I don't think or maybe they're just ignoring me. I hadn't thought of that. How was the webinar, says the OLP. You can watch it again soon. It'll be up in our Portugal Calling webinar series recordings, of course. Peter Bleach, are you Portuguese? I'm trying to translate your post. I've only got to, por favor, todos, marido especial. Let Moaz know, will you, Pete, what's going on there? Portugal is lifting restrictions. Yes, we'll come back to that. We'll do that at the end of the show because we've got a lot of fun to have between now and the end of the show with Coach Turner. I'm just getting all these good morning greetings in. Always important to say hello to everybody. Hiya, Jackie and Laura P. And I think that's probably Anola Bon Dia Kids somewhere. Yes, there it is from Victoria Benson. The cycle race in Albufeira was great yesterday. I've got that video as well. I can't believe it. I am overwhelmed. I'm asking for more things to come in, and I'm actually overwhelmed at the moment, and in a totally good way. I will probably carry that forward to next week, Deagle, but that was so good. Coach Turner, I don't think was able to capture that because of some sort of incident. But Deagle did capture it for us, and it was really exciting. It's always exciting when the road race comes through. Amazing. Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. That's what the OLP had to listen to. And Baldia Coach Ian. We'll hold that and we'll share that with him when he's live on the screen. Oregonians, OLP from Moaz. It was a good webinar, and I'm sure Cole will post a video, but not the part with the members' question. No members will be exposed. in that way, if you see what I mean. Bon dia from Chris Wilson, long-time podcaster, but live today. Oh, cheers, Chris. Yes, hello, Chris. Yes, I know you. Silver Coast scouting trip next week. Give us a call. Let's have a coffee or a bit. Well, I'll have a non-alcoholic beer. You have what you like. We'll meet up in the Silver Coast if you fancy it. Chris, I was going to say hi, Baldylocks, but then I was afraid if it wasn't you, you got to be careful with that sort of thing, haven't you? Can you imagine that, saying Baldylocks to the wrong person? I would love to see that. I wouldn't want to be the person doing it myself, but I'd like to see that unfolding before my eyes on a Zoom conference. Anyhow, it's always nice to associate the name with the face. And of course, let's do that now. Let's bring onto the screen that face, that handsome face in the Algarve. Coach Ian Turner, folks, putting a name to this face. Well, putting a face to this name. We often hear about you, Coach Turner. Here you are live. And on Terra Portuguesa, how is it going? How's it going?
Oh, I'm sitting here in the sunshine. All right, it's a little bit chilly because there's a cold breeze coming off the land, but hey, you can't knock this, can you? It's
3 layers, Turner. I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, well, 3 layers. Well, I haven't been out for a run yet.
Of course not. Okay, all right. So
it was a bit early this morning because my number 1 son and his family have disappeared off from here to the airport. They had to Stansted.
Yes.
Having looked at the forecast for Stansted today,
you'd want to be flying.
It's a bit grim. You wouldn't want to be up in the air.
No.
So,
well, fingers crossed. Yeah, well,
absolutely.
Is number 1 son one who might have run back to the UK because he's a keen runner, isn't it? Oh, okay.
No, he does run. He's done marathon and is been trying to do 5K a day just to keep his stomach under control. He has the same problem I do. He enjoys his food and drink too much.
Yes. Well, okay.
Yes. Number 2 son is the ultra madman.
But he runs 5K a day anyway. He's the amateur.
He tries. He tries
amazing.
to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm very very impressed with that. So if any of us are aspiring to be in any way as fit as that, you've come to the right place this morning. And this, the whole point here is a gentle approach, right, Ian, to being an expat and a bon viveur, and that's pretty much how the course is developing as well, isn't it? It's quite a gentle and slow approach.
Yeah, definitely. It's been very gentle this last week, apart from having to run around after children, which was just lovely and great fun.
Well, that's good exercise, isn't it? That's good exercise.
And in answer to your earlier question, yes, I have been testing the red wine. And Vigna Verde.
Before we get into the fitness stuff, I mean, we need to know where you are, what you're liking about it, and yes, the wine reviews, please. So yeah, how's it going for you in Portugal?
Well, we're down in where are we? Too much wine. We're in Praia da Luz, and the beach here is lovely. Though my favourite beach is where we took that video that you showed early on, which was Bagao, which is the next village west of here, which is a proper little fishing village. The only problem with it is nothing is open. So there's about 20 restaurants all gathered around the beach and nothing is open.
Well, what a shame.
That was a bit of a shame. But the beach itself is absolutely beautiful and much more gentle, actually. It seems more gentle than the one here, which is a bit bigger and more touristy, built up. But even then, we don't have the big developments here that are, in Portimao or even Lagos, which is our the next town to the east of here, where Leslie and I will be walking to later on. It's about 10 or 11k. So
that sounds a lovely idea.
Yeah, we haven't done any proper walking yet this trip, so we've been a bit busy running around after little ones.
Superb.
So yeah, we're going to have a nice walk over the hills by the cliffs. Try and not get too close to the cliffs because I don't do that.
Yeah. Very good.
And probably have a late lunch in Magosh.
Good for you.
See how we feel then, whether we walk back or catch a bus.
How lovely. So Portugal, south of Portugal in the Algarve, clearly ideal for a family holiday. You've had different combinations of family over.
We have. Well, we've had one of our families over during half term, of course, because it's half term this week in the UK. So we've sort of built our trip around that to see if they could come out as kind of a starter, a tester, if you like, for spending more time out here, possibly this autumn coming, and repeat the thing next spring, and then try and build up to more than 6 months a year. But that's the plan anyway. Or my plan.
Always was. It always was, wasn't it? I mean, that's how we met, because of your interest in Portugal, of course. And now look what's happened.
We're starting. It's a slow process, as is our fitness routines.
I think that's how we roll, and we need to accept that. If anybody wants to take a little look, it's 50plusvitality.com. This is what Coach Turner and I have been working on. Rebel Mama might be here, but Victoria certainly is, and we're part of both of them, part of our pilot approach. And what I'd like to do this morning is maybe get a group of maybe half a dozen people together who want to do round 2 with us and help us develop it further. Does that sound all right to you, Coach Turner?
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So we need feedback. We need to, improve one or two of the videos, I think.
Yeah. Okay. And what I've really liked about it, I mean, when we envisaged this, it was like a downloadable course of videos. But what was really good, and this is what you realize when you actually try something out, your minimum viable product, as it were, is the things you didn't think of. And what's really important with this, I think, is the community aspect of it. And I think that's what we need to focus on, is having cohorts of people working and supporting each other on this. Because we had a lovely little WhatsApp exchanges, didn't we? We started talking about music and other things as well in our exchanges. So we can get a little group, maybe a half a dozen people. If you're interested, just drop me a line, PM me. And I'd like to go at it again from Monday and go round again through the video. You know how many videos you made, Coach Turner?
Well, I think to remember you said it was 30 odd, wasn't it?
Yep, 30 videos across 5 modules. And you tell us. I mean, what does it cover in those 30 videos?
Well, we started out just talking about the process of developing a bit more fitness, and it is just a bit more fitness. It's the process, really. You start off gently and gradually build, because if you start off going mad, and I know several people who've gone to things like boot camp, and within half a session they've given up, because it's just too hard, and you've got someone shouting at you to do the next 20 press-ups, and you think, really, why am I doing this? Especially as you get to a more experienced stage, you don't need it. This is really about staying healthy. So healthy so that we can enjoy the fine, as you say, the bon viveur, the finer things in life, without it wrecking us. But also, and this is on a slightly more serious note, I watched my parents gradually decline, and my dad had been really active up to, he's still playing tennis at 80, but he then kind of gave up. And if you can keep active through your later years, you will stay a lot healthier, and be able to enjoy life. Because that's what you want to do, is especially as you sort of give up horrible things like work. For you, work is a joy, I suspect.
It is. It's absolutely right.
Because you love what you do, but for lots of people that's not an option. So the years that you can finally give up trundling into an office or a factory or whatever every day are the ones you need to really enjoy the most.
Yes.
So being healthy in that time and not spending half your time in hospital, it seems to me the right thing to do.
You know, when you put it like that, yeah, of course. You know, when you get into your retirement and you've become an expat over here, wouldn't it be a shame to have given your best and most healthy years to the thing you find most difficult in life? So that's what we're talking about, and the emphasis is definitely on it being gentle. We haven't had any volunteers yet for round 2. It's not going to cost you anything. Except a little bit of your attention and a little bit of commitment to doing some of the work. And it's not going to be like this. I went to a spin class once and didn't make it to the end of the class, let alone the course.
Yeah.
Emphasis definitely on your personal ability and where you are. So, for example, I developed a knee injury in this coldest and darkest part of the year. But Coach Turner says, if it hurts, stop. So I did. It's getting better, and I'm gonna approach going round the course again, the 30 videos with that in mind. I'm not gonna sort of no pain, no gain it or do anything stupid. It's got to be done according to your personal circumstances and needs, right?
That's correct. I mean, as you know, many of you know, I coach athletics, sprinting specifically.
Yes.
And you judge how much you put your athletes through by how fit they are.
Yeah.
How much that they can take on board. And yes, you do push them as they get more and more developed.
Yes.
But you start off very gently because otherwise they get injured. And so you develop their fitness, their strength, and you know, with my particular interest, I suppose, in sprinting is actually technique. Now that's less important for just keeping healthy. But even then, you need to do exercise in the right way. Otherwise, you learn to do it the wrong way, and that just leads to injury.
Well, talking of which, we have a couple of examples, a couple of great videos that you've made since being in Portugal. Other role models here. Look, a golfing mum at 84. We need to get her on the show at some point, maybe Victoria, or she could record us a little message, an inspiring message that you could share with us on Instagram. That would be fantastic.
Well, we're hoping to catch up with Victoria next week.
Oh, excellent. I hope you do. Pictures, please. Just need to talk to Will a minute. Carl, people can see in the comments section when they see you skip over comments. I'm just was about to say, I'm not ignoring you, Will. I kind of am in a way ignoring you because the comments you're making are better suited to the 10:30 podcast that we're doing, the Bubble Off Centre. I'm trying to have a conversation with the coach here about gentle fitness for as a bon viveur and in later life as an expat. And we will talk about what you want to talk about at 10:30. It's not a problem, but it's going to be a bit jangly if we suddenly start talking about the humanitarian crisis like that. It's not that I disagree with you. It's that there's a time and a place for everything. And if the time and place for anyone who wants to talk about that and they want to join us, it will be 10:30 this morning. So what is this? It's time for the Jedi to end. Okay, that's a bit ominous. It's a bit ominous, Will. Let's talk again at 10:30, where you are welcome. And yet now is not the time to call in. I'm having a chat with Ian. Okay, skinny people need to layer up. Is that right?
Well, having been in the sea yesterday, at least up to my my nether regions, that was about as far as I got.
Right.
But you know, the kids, or at least one of them, was completely in. There were quite a few people out swimming yesterday in the sea, which, when you consider it's middle of February, it's quite unbelievable, really.
Okay.
But yeah, it got a bit chilly.
Okay, you didn't need seaweed to find out what the weather was like yesterday, by the sound. Okay, we will. Well, let's go to one of those videos now where we can see how the gentle approach works and the various angles that you approach this gentle fitness, the bon viveur. I'm going to go into. I might have to mute your mic up. You've had a bit of a problem with wind, haven't you, in these last few days? I think, Ian.
It's been quite breezy,
Yes.
which is the wind is quite cold, but actually down on the beaches that's been relatively sheltered because the wind is coming off the land rather than onto it. So that's worked out okay. Just means you put another layer on.
So can you did 3 videos. You can be here you can do your own intro. So can I have you live introducing the videos number 2 and 3? Basically, you were saying you've been walking a lot in flip-flops, and that's not so great.
Yeah. Well, we arrived, and I immediately, of course, the sun was out, so I put flip-flops on. And the place we're staying, I guess, is about 1 kilometre away. It certainly takes about 15 minutes to get down to the town and the beach. And it is down and then up again. And I haven't worn flip-flops probably for 12 months, or more than 12 months. So you add 2 or 3 kilometres a day in flip-flops, and my calves for the first couple of nights were killing me. They just became rock solid. And I couldn't work it out. And then I suddenly thought, oh, flip-flops. Because you actually walk in a very different way in flip-flops than you do in shoes. So because you're permanently pulling your toes up to flip the flop, so to speak.
Of course, if someone as fit as you is having this challenge, which goes to show in a way, doesn't it, that all of this is about technique, and that's what you talk about a lot. So let's look at one of those technique videos now.
Okay, welcome back. I wanted to just talk about how to improve the strength of your calves, your ankle, your foot. And that's really important because either when you're walking or running, that's your main point of contact. So when you're walking, obviously you land on your heel, then you roll forward and push off with the ball of your foot. When you're running, you land, which should do, land on the ball of your foot and push off. So the ball of your foot does all the work, and your ankle and calf acts as a shock absorber and as your launch point for the next stride. So really important to keep these in good nick. Even if you're just going for a walk, it'll keep you healthier for much longer. So, first exercise we're going to do just in this video is very simple. Doing them with flip-flops is probably not the best idea, but that's what we're going to do. And we're just raising your heels. That's a bit too much on this step. So raising your heels one at a time. You can do it on 1 foot or 2 feet. 1 foot makes it more difficult. If you've got a step with a handle, that helps you balance. Balancing on an uneven surface is quite difficult. You can still get the effort. So 2 feet, 1 feet. Do it 5, 10 times, building up slowly. Progressive always. So the next video we're going to look at the sort of exercises you can do for running, and for that I need to put some proper shoes on a nice flat surface, because that's what you need.
You're such a natural. Look at that. I'm going to go and change into my trainers now. And talking of trainers, that's one of the sections in the work we've been doing on the course, is advice about footwear as well. So it's everything, isn't it? It's not just about physical fitness technique. You know, you're talking about footwear, you're talking about nutrition as well. Though not a nutritional expert or a nutritionist, these are important conversations to have, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting, the experience I've had, particularly with young, this is going to sound a little sexist, but it's not meant to be, young ladies.
Yeah.
They have quite a lot of hang-ups about eating, drinking, and indeed going to the loo, which is a bit of an issue. They just don't. Almost every young female athlete we've had just doesn't drink enough water, because they're afraid of going to the loo too much. I don't know whether that's a modern thing or an old thing, or it's just something I've noticed. So we have to, you spend a year or 18 months training them
It is.
You know, making sure you have enough vegetables and enough fruit. I mean, it's simple stuff. It's not like it's not. Yeah, that's the one.
This is somebody's breakfast for this morning. There's a Bon Dia Alegria mug from Deagle and Mrs. McKillen this morning. There's some lovely Algarve and orange citrus action going on there. Some raspberries. That's a good looking breakfast. Yeah. I mean, you talk about intermittent fasting as well. How is that experiment going?
Well, I don't tend to have anything in the mornings. I tend to my fit eating starts generally at lunchtime. Though you know, being in a cafe where they serve good coffee and pastel, that's a bit of a temptation.
Yeah.
But it's that's fine. Don't do it every day.
Yeah.
I'm back to the last time we spoke. We were talking about how bad habits develop, and they do it gradually, and then it becomes daily. Just don't do it daily.
Yeah.
That's the eating the pastels or the.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about that because I'm thinking of doing food group fasting or intermittent.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I'm really aware now after getting on for 5 years in Portugal, the sugar thing is an issue, and I think I'm going to probably feast on sugar. And by that I mean feast and fast. So I'm probably going to look at doing something like only sugar at the weekends, as refined and processed sugar. I mean, I'm not going to give up fruit sugar as well, but this is the important thing about doing it in a group, and that's why I'm looking for buddies to go around the course again, because these are the sort of things you need support with. I think sometimes it's like, okay, I'm going into it.
I think what we've learned over the past few years is that refined sugar is a real baddie. Much worse than fats and any other nasty. It's the sugar and the sugar industry. And if you think about the sugar industry and the history of Portugal, like the UK, slavery for sugar refinery, was a huge thing. And they've hooked the sugar barons have hooked us all on the sweet stuff, haven't they?
The rascals, yeah. So anyone who wants to just join us for that angle of giving up sugar for a few days a week and seeing what the results will be like, let's do it. Do get in touch. Looking for a small cohort of people to go through the 5 modules, do it on a weekly basis. We'll do it as 5 weeks, 5 modules, and we'll see where it takes us.
I'm happy to support on WhatsApp or. I have to say I find Facebook a bit of a pain in the proverbial.
You're not the only one with that.
but happy to WhatsApp, emails, support, just advice, encouragement, whatever.
There you go.
Anything you like.
Victoria,
we don't charge.
Customer. Yeah, no charge for that either. Come on, Gumpers, sign up with Coach Turner for round 2. Great experience and at your own pace as well. That's lovely. Thank you very much for that, Victoria. And there was a comment about, look, Jack Polly says, we've walked over from Lagos to Luz a few years ago over the cliffs. It's lovely. So that's a good treat for you today there, Mr. and Mrs. Turner. We'll be in Lagos town at lunchtime. We'll look out for you. How about that? So there might be another Gumper meetup there. Fantastic. Ooh. And Abel's in north of Scotland. Snowstorm. Actually going through it at the moment. Snowstorm in Perthshire. Be safe. Take care there, Abel. Great to hear from you this morning. And Sue says, look, hi, Coach. Lovely setting. Jealous. Because over in Finland, it looks like this right now.
Well, I'm jealous of that, you see, because I really enjoy skiing. So
I can't win.
It's the one thing I haven't been able to do for like 3 years. So I'm getting itchy legs. Want to be skiing.
Itchy leg
Mind you,
syndrome.
my skiing. Yeah, my skiing has got to the stage where I might manage to do 2 hours in the morning and then have a very long lunch. So
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah.
So that's my skiing these days.
Victoria, I'm looking forward to meeting up with you both down there in the south. And she loves her Havaianas, her flip-flops, of course. And this is why, look, this is why Brazilians have great legs, because of walking around in flip-flops all the time.
It could well be. My Havaianas, which I'm wearing at the moment, were bought in Sao Paulo airport on the way home from a trip.
Were they? Okay.
So they're genuine Brazilian.
That's so true. My diet is sugar, beer, coffee. Something else is going on that is so much bigger. Yes, all right, Will, we heard you. Don't do the fasting. Okay. Why is that? And newborn babies used to be given glucose water first off at the hospitals that can lead to liking sugar from the start. I mean, it's a human thing to like sweetness, isn't it? And where we might not be experiencing this metaphorically, of course, we head for the sugar. I don't know if they still do this. I don't think so, but the vending machines are full of sugar, aren't they? Even in the hospitals where you'd think they might give it a rest.
Yeah, I mean, the other real nasty are these sports drinks, because they're just packed with sugar.
Yes, why?
Which the kids, exactly. Which the kids love, of course. But they're so bad for you. They're bad for your teeth. They're just wrong. So that's why we don't recommend any of those sorts of things for our athletes.
Yes.
If you want to make an isotonic drink, make it up yourself, and you put the right ingredients in.
Such as?
So, you put salts in because you need to put salts back. I mean, it's not something I'm an expert at, but salts you can put a little sugar in just to make it palatable. But the sort of Lucozade sports and things have umpteen spoonfuls of sugar in them.
Which they would call added value. Added value, they call it, I think.
Yeah, they do. They probably. But just on reducing your sugar intake, my recommendation personally is to just reduce the amount you do each day.
Yes.
Particularly if you're bunging sugar into coffee and tea. Just reduce it a little every day and get used to the flavour, because it's that change in flavour. I mean, I've not had, I guess, sugar in coffee. I haven't had it in tea for years, but coffee for probably 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And I just gradually reduced the amount I put in when I had a coffee, and now I really enjoy the coffee around here, but it is con leche rather than black. So I enjoy a good espresso occasionally.
Okay.
Just not late in the day.
Right, Suze, you want to go skiing. She wants to ride a horse on a beach in Portugal. Took lessons. Teacher asked English or Western. A tyre came to mind. Goes English and glad of it. What with a full-on sort of? It looks like those sort of fox. I'm accusing you of going fox hunting, but you wear the reds and the whites, do you? When you're going out on the horse, there is that what English horse riding looks like, or the show jumping outfits, I suppose. Missed the premium course, premium meeting last night. Was on a course based in US. It was great, Simone. We missed you. We were talking about shipping. The lovely thing about the course is people are accelerating their plans to come to Portugal, and we are talking to people who are already here and having a great time. So that was a great meeting. I can update you on that. Just get in touch. So let's play the second video then, Ian.
Okay, mate.
You here in Portugal.
That's a bit more advanced.
It is a bit, and a little bit of a caveat here. There could be a little bit of pressure on the knees, couldn't they? So again, we're reiterating if it hurts. Stop. Any other prefacing?
Yeah, indeed. Okay. No, I'll just talk about the knees once you've seen the videos.
Okay, let's do it.
Hi. Right, last vid for today. I want to talk about running and improving your spring in your step. I know it sounds a bit cheesy. So just a couple of simple exercises that you can practice at home, outside, probably in private because they look a bit silly, but you can do them on 2 feet, on 1 foot, but it's to help work your foot, your ankle, the lower leg, and encourage you to both land and push off the ball of your foot. So when you're running, you want to land on the ball of your foot. And the reason that's important, if you land on your heel, you must land in front of your hip. So it actually stops you to use more energy to run either quickly or a particular distance. So you want to land with your foot underneath you, the ball of your foot underneath you, with an almost straight leg, and you push off. So, 2 exercises. One of them is just simply bouncing up and down with a fairly rigid knee. So you're using your ankle. Just to look at the sideways view. Just like that. And you can do it moving forwards, moving backwards, moving sideways. Use them all. Do about 10 in each direction. All you need to do. Likewise, you can do them single leg, forwards and backwards, forwards, backwards. Try and do it on a stable surface with good shoes. You can try it on the beach in bare feet. That's really hard. So stick to feet in shoes on a hard surface and you won't come to much harm. Build up your muscles in your calves, strengthen your ankle, and you'll be able to run better with less injuries. And that's the real key. Have a good one.
Doctor, what do you have for wind? A kite. So yeah, a little bit windy there, but we get the gist of that. You know, that's
Yeah.
You're talking about doing reps of that, aren't you? And how often, how many would you build into your routine, something like that?
Well, about 10 hops forwards,
yeah,
backwards,
okay.
Sideways.
Yes. Over the Irish Sea.
All you need to do. Yeah, for people that just want to do, you know, short recreational runs, that's all you need to do.
Yes.
Obviously, if you want to get, you know, more advanced, then you'd do a little more. And you would actually seek out sands to do them in, and that's killer.
Well, that's the interesting thing. That's something we also enjoyed on the first round, is not having my fitness time and my other life. Integration is really key with this as well, isn't it? And
yeah,
so
you can fit it in around everything you do.
Yeah, you could do this stood in the supermarket, couldn't you? If you really were that. And be careful with the people around you. But I'm doing the funny walks you recommended while I'm out with the dogs, or intermittent burst of running. And this we think in these rational and divided and polar ways more and more, don't we, in our society? With, you know, this bit is this bit, that bit is that bit. But if you can integrate, you know, because another thing you've suggested is the push-ups whilst you're sitting, and you don't have to make it your fitness session. You can integrate that into part of your day. You can integrate that while watching telly.
You can,
if you watch telly. Yes.
Yeah, you can do. I mean, if you think back, I suppose, to when we were all in caves chasing dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You know, everything was integrated with everything else, wasn't it? You were running after pterodactyls and
yes.
So there was lots of exercise of all sorts of different types all the time. Yeah. So we were, you know, that's how our bodies have developed to what they are today.
Of course.
So, you know, fitting it in around your daily life, but making it a habit. I mean, I think it's a good habit, isn't it?
It is. And some people stop bending over at a certain age, don't they? Because it becomes too difficult. So if you integrate that, doing your shoelaces, doing the laundry, putting the pots and pans away after the washing up, you could again integrate there. I would thoroughly recommend that.
Yeah. Well, I having had a dodgy back for the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's sort of stopped me doing very much.
Okay.
And I realised trying to put socks on It's been an interesting experience. It's a lot better now, but I did try running on the beach yesterday, and it was a bit painful. But gradually, as I loosened up, it got better.
It's when you find out who your friends are. You find out who your friends are when you need your socks putting on. Ian Turner, you're in Luge. Yes, he is. Good morning to you. Dougie's in. And look at this, an accommodation swap here. I'll be in New York where my daughter is studying. Does anyone have a room for us? 23rd until 31st of May. I can give my studio in Albufeira. How about that? A lovely swap, which is booked until the 2nd of June. How about that? Jim's in as well. Great news from Jim. Bon dia from a cloudy, cold and rainy Wiesbaden. Only 3 more weeks of Germany winter weather. Looking forward to being here. Well done, Jim. Donna's here as well. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Donna. How are you? Mark's in too. Good morning, Mark. And sorry, missed the show yesterday. Did catch up. Since thanks to you and Global International Relocation. Storm Eunice, Cardiff, UK, red weather warning, not so bad, fingers tightly crossed. Well, lots of love. Stay safe, everybody in the UK with a double storm, I think it is. Enjoying the Portugal pictures this morning. Yeah, and an erotic novel entry. She informed him that her fudge was wet, but her garden was happy. Very good, James. Who doesn't like a wet fudge in the mornings? Come on. So I think
we have a wet lawn in the mornings here because the sprinklers come on.
Oh, my word. I think we probably need to let you go. Mrs. Turner probably wants to get over to Lagos. Anything else you want to share with us before you do, Coach?
Oh, just how lovely this area is. And indeed, just being able to be outside and doing exercise of whatever type is fantastic. Yeah. And it's what we really struggle with this time of year in the UK. And, I can recommend this time of year. And the accommodation's a hell of a lot cheaper. I wouldn't book where we are, and it's a beautiful villa. And somehow we got it at the bargain price. I wouldn't book here in the summer because it would bankrupt me. So I can recommend to those who have the ability to come and spend some time out here in this time of year, and I guess the back end of the year as well, so October, November time.
Yep. Okay. All right, great way to spend the back end.
Build the exercise into your daily routines, make it a habit.
All right, so who's up for joining us? Let me know. We've been a little group of people, half a dozen or so. Rebel Mama, Victoria, it really enjoyed the process, and you can see if you go to you get a taste of it if you go to the site, the website. I'm no webmaster, but there you go. There's something in development at 50plusvitality.com. That's our sort of draft work in progress, but it'll give you a sense of what we're doing. And there are 30 videos. We'll do it as a 5 in for that. Coach is getting very windy now. We better let him go and calm himself with a coffee. Thank you so much, Ian.
Thanks,
all the best
Carl.
to you and Mrs.
Lovely.
Turner. Have a beautiful day.
Yeah, okay. Hopefully catch up sometime.
Yeah, I hope so. Ciao, ciao. Have a great day.
Ciao. Will do. Take care.
There he goes. Off for a lovely walk to Lagos across the cliffs today. So we'll have a little change of tempo now, I think. I don't know if it's going to get faster or slower. It's going to get different. That's for sure.
Warning. Millennials may not understand the following Gumper dad jokes.
Okay, so we gave you the dad joke warning. James, look at this. A priest, a rabbi, and a giraffe walk into the bar. The bartender asks, "What is this? Some kind of joke?" I'm glad we played that warning. And who is that handsome 80s guy? Let's have another look at that. There's a handsome 60s guy as well to take a look at. If you weren't here earlier on, we're playing Guess the Gumper. And who is the handsome 80s guy? Who is that there? And that's in, I think that was in the 80s, wasn't it? You can WhatsApp me the person. They're watching now. They've been involved this morning and they just came off stage is the quotable quote there. I just came off stage actually in Kentish Town in London. They didn't say what stage. I'm guessing in a band, but it could be performance poetry. There's a little bit of a clue there. So who is that handsome 80s guy? And then who is this handsome 60s guy here? A beautiful picture. 1965 Peace Corps training, Annapolis, Maryland, bound for India. What an amazing picture. What an amazing time as well. And we solved this one already. Who is this? Don't say who this is in our community, but look at that Gumper this morning. Honorary Gumper a chameleon from the Algarve this morning. Isn't that lovely? And yes, if you only just joined, Tamakatan joins us on Monday, briefly, but to tell us about his new Porto dates, that coming on Monday. And look at that snow just quickly again. Suze, Finland, snow. There's the coach enjoying a bit of a windy Algarve, it has to be said. But that's the picture in Finland right now. Plenty of snow there. So let's go back to your comments this morning. We've got a 2-minute taster to come from Dougie. Thank you so much. Still looking for that citizenship by marriage ticket. Handsome 80s guy there. Dad! Whenever we say Jack Polly, we're always going to get James shouting that out. Susan Lurch is in as well. Good morning, Susan. Bon dia todos from Funchal this morning. How lovely. And what is an IMP, by the way? We've shared that for you, Laura, but what does IMP stand for? Thank you very much, Coach. Yes, thank you for all the comments that came in. And while he was on, including this, saw on the news last night that the Algarve is getting ready for an influx of British tourists for the half-term holidays. That is indeed the case. Things are looking up in the Algarve. And I think the restrictions that we probably will go into that are being lifted, relaxed, are all part of that. And I don't think people are going to wait, frankly. I think there's going to be a floodgate effect and people are just going to think, sod it, we're back to normal. I think that is what's going to happen. People being people, that's what's going to happen. Beautiful weather for a nice cliff beachside walk, says Victoria this morning. And hold on a minute, trying to wade through all the Will Thompson comments here, everybody. See you at 10:30 for the Bubble Off Centre podcast if you want to tune in. If Will hasn't put you off already, tune in at 10:30 for the Bubble Off Centre podcast with me and T-Duck, where we'll get Will on the line for those of you who would like to hear Will's message. It is a good one and very passionate and enthusiastic, as you can hear this morning. I'm just trying to catch up in the comments here. Let me play the 2-minute taster. We'll give myself a chance to catch up. Yes, we said hello to Simone, didn't we? Yeah, and get in touch, Simone, if you need an update. Let's just play for you now the 2-minute taster from Dougie this morning. Where are my videos? Ah, here it is. Check this out. This is great.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Munson. Yes, this is Mertola in the Alentejo. Well, it has to be said, it's unusually grey. I won't go as far as to say and horrible, but it's certainly grey and, well, slightly humid here today. It doesn't really matter from what angle we behold Mertola. It's always a slightly impressive view. Now we've crossed to the other side of the river and we can look at Mertola from a completely different angle. This is one of its most lovely buildings. It's very sleepy here today. Not much going on. Very quiet. Hardly anybody about except for the birds singing.
This is a mural that actually appears on the wine bottles from the wines that have been produced locally here. And this is the wolf, the deer, and the different birds that have been hunted here traditionally. And yeah, so it's Mertola is well known for its hunting.
The Alentejo wouldn't be complete without a castle. That's the river Guadiana, gently meandering its way down towards the ocean at Villarreal de Santo Antonio. The Guadiana is a lazy old thing as it makes its way down from the El Cueva reservoir. It's almost impossible not to be relaxed after visiting Mertola. It's that kind of place. So, with the sun gently setting over a massive Alentejo sky, we shall just have to call time on yet another one of our 2-minute tasters and hand you back to the dulcet tones of the one and only Mr. Munson.
What a pro. Love that, Dougie. Fantastic. More of those to come. He's on tour mainly, I think, in the south of Portugal. Thank you so much, Dougie, for taking the trouble to do those. And he was a broadcaster, of course. Tell us where you used to work, Dougie, back in the day. And you talk about dulcet tones. You got them right there, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Muito obrigado. Get well, Matty. The greetings, the get well greetings, Chameleon, coming in for you, my friend. And yeah, we didn't check in properly. How are you doing today? OLP, dancing is such good exercise. You had a question, which I will attempt to answer. Not as an expert, but from what I've heard from the coach, is it better for you to run on the beach or the pavement? I think it depends on what you're trying to do. The added challenge of being on the beach will develop certain muscle groups, won't it? And of course, you need to be careful when running on the harshness of the pavements to look at that technique. That's part of what we're going to do on the course, is look at the technique. What I've realized is all my life, and I think it's part of the reason why my knees are giving me a little bit of trouble now, is if you run onto your heels, you're slowing yourself down and you're getting a shock going through your lower legs and up into your knees, aren't you? And your knees are taking the brunt of that. So there was a bit of technique there on how to run on the balls of your feet. So it's not just about the medium, as it were, of the beach or the pavement, but it's about your technique as well. And we go into that on the course. And a nice answer from Antonio F. I believe running in the sand is more demanding on the muscles, and on the pavement is more demanding on the joints. Put simply, that's fantastic. And yeah, dancing is such good exercise as the OLP, as I'm sure Victoria will attest to that as well, because I know she enjoys dancing, and that's been part of her routine. Another good exercise: putting your shoes and lace them while standing on one leg, the other one put the shoe on. I mean, we could develop a whole routine, couldn't we, where we're building fitness and flexibility around our daily lives. This is what I was talking about, about how I think people stop bending over at a certain point, don't they? Or stop crouching and squatting because it becomes too challenging. And then they develop a habit which goes against them. I would say challenge those habits that are being developed where you might be avoiding something. But that's good advice in anything in life, is it not? Mr. Obvious says, start with walking in the sand and slowly work your way up to playing volleyball in the sand, and then slowly work your way up to doing 5 cartwheels in the sand. In other words, don't start with a volleyball. Gentle fitness, absolutely right. Same for putting on socks. Do it standing. I like to do that, standing on one leg. And I do like to, not that I want to leave this image with you, but I do like to stand whilst putting on the underpants and seeing how much of a Zen-like Tai Chiing ninja I can be and how elegantly I can do that. Where are you staying, coach? I think we went into that, didn't we, OLP? He's down there in Luge. Big rebounding fan, says Simone. Yes, isn't a rebounding good for the oxygenation of the blood, as I understand it? Great for moving toxins. Yes, of course, you're moving the lymph system doing that, aren't you? A lymphatic system. Great for moving toxins out of the body and keeping the immune system functioning. Good shout there, Simone. We got it. The functioning immune system is able to have fun. There you go. I love Portugal and I feel bad about the drought. Oh, that's Moaz talking to Will there. Is that famous karma, Chameleon? I made that joke. I made that dad joke already. Were you not here? And it's my pleasure. What's that? An erotic novel entry, I wonder. The 80s guy in the picture looks so... That's because he is. OMG. Sus. Suze, I think that is. That's a lot of snow. Man cave tonight, everybody. That's what all the shouting is about. Here, look at this. The shouting has begun in preparation. They're opening up their vocal cords for this evening. And that's Mertola. Of course it is. Oh, accent. Mertola. Mertola, not Mertola. Mertola. Thank you very much for the pronunciation notes there. Mertola. I hope I got that right. Carl, is the podcast at 10:40 on YouTube? Yeah, it's on the Feel Good Portugal, because we go right off piste and out there, as you can get a sense of this morning. 10:30 on the Feel Good Portugal channel. Nothing officially to do with Expats Portugal or Good Morning Portugal, but we do call it the storm drain. We take things there that we would it's not right to talk about here. We have a different mission here, don't we? So we take that over to the Bubble Off Centre podcast. That's what it was designed for. Ian, talking to the OLP, we're in Luge. Oh, thanks, Ian, for answering these before you go off on your walk. I love the rare hard and fast rules for accents in Portuguese. Thanking Antonio and Maxine. So keep those coming. Mertola castle was built by the Moors between 930 and 1031. So it's 1,000 years old. and it was improved over time. And that's a great metaphor for us all, isn't it? Let's improve over time. Let's not dread and fear aging. It brings with it, it never comes alone, but it brings good things, doesn't it? As well as some of the things we dread too. A nice mural. I love the artistic talents of the Portuguese people, says Moaz. And looking at Caldas annual rainfall, worst month is 90 millimeters or 3.5 inches. Doesn't seem like much. No, and it's a very dry year this year. I wanted to take you back. I'm just mentioning of Caldas there. I want to take you up to the Bairrada for a minute. And a festival, look, vegans look away now. Absolutely look away now. A Comissão de Festas de São Sebastião de Mamarosa tem o prazer de apresentar a Festival do Leitão. So the first such festival, Suckling Pig, this is, of course. And if you pay 150, it includes a whole suckling pig and 4 bottles of fizz, because that's how they roll in the Bairrada. You drink sometimes the red fizz up there in the Bairrada region. So 10 people on a table there, 150. That's not too bad, is it? And you get a complete and whole suckling pig and 4 bottles of fizz, I believe, for that. So there it is on the screen for you now. And that's happening on the 2nd of April, 2022, 8 o'clock. At Salão Ama at Mamarosa. Wouldn't that be amazing if you turn up for that and say you heard it on the Good Morning Portugal show? Vegans need not apply for that particular gig there. And yes, thank you, Andrew, Portuglish. Go, Andy from Victoria as well. I'm glad you have the bubble program for ranting. Good Morning Portugal is for the celebration of Portuguese dreams. I couldn't have put it better myself. Thank you, Suze, for making that clarification. Give it a rest, Will, until 10:30. You are being a pain now, basically, and you've lost your audience. It's my pleasure, IMP. Thank you very much for that. Mr. Chameleon. Dad joke. No need to apologize. I was just in there first. Memory is like a curse. We fall. Oh, there you go. Some pithy Portugueseness now. We fall into eternity, and memory is a weight that keeps pulling us back to where we can never go back to. I misread that, didn't I? So, Zé Luís Peixoto, tell us more, please, Prof. A memory is like a curse. We fall into eternity, and memory is a weight that keeps pulling us to where we can never go back to. Wow. Yes. Prescient. Thank you very much for that. Leitão is, Andy's a fan. Great. I love the Feel Good Portugal show, and I've been following it for a while. We noticed, Moaz. Thank you very much indeed. So let's have a quick look now then at these restrictions. And I'll bring it onto the screen now. Portugal drops 5 main COVID restrictions with a promise here. So let me just pop that onto the screen so you can see it as well as me reading it. Here we go. Portugal drops 5 main COVID restrictions, promising they'll all go in 5 weeks' time. And Natasha Don on the case, as ever with this, reported yesterday, 17th of February, Portugal's Council of Ministers has approved the first steps towards regaining our freedoms. In the next few days, the country will move from its current state of calamity to one of alert, which will remain... That sounded a bit Jeremy Clarkson. Going from a state of calamity to one of alert, which will remain in force until midnight on March the 7th. 5 key restrictions will then fall. They are the need for contacts of risk to go into prophylactic isolation. Yes, giggling there among the probably the older American gentlemen who've never grown out of that habit. I'll say it again, prophylactic. Remote working from home, limits on numbers in shops, commercial premises and others open to the public. Presentation of COVID digital certificates, that's the other CDC, isn't it? Unless it is for the purposes of entering the country. And presentation of a negative test for SARS-CoV-2 in order to access large events, sports arenas, bars, and discotheques. They're still using the word discotheque, which I love. Markedly missing from the list is the doing away with mask wearing in indoor spaces. I think that people are doing that by themselves, quite frankly, from what I've seen. This is because for now, the decision has been to maintain it in indoor situations where it is currently requested. So we're still going to, I think, probably be asked to put your mask on. Do the old mask shuffle when you're getting out of the car. Check all the pockets. Get that dirty old mask out that you've had in there for 10 weeks or whatever. Pop it on so that you can walk into the restaurant. Take it off. Put it on the table while you eat. A dirty old thing. But of course, there is a hazardous waste bin for it. Oh no, there isn't. Anyway, this means there is no need to wear masks in the street anymore, a stipulation that became very confused as it only ever applied to situations where people could not keep an adequate physical distance. Back to Natasha Don's reporting and not my polemic. None of these changes, however, can come into effect before they are promulgated. Good word, Natasha, by President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, hence the open-ended proviso in a few days' time. I imagine Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa is thinking about how he's going to deliver that information to everybody in the best possible way, because it will reflect well on him, won't it? The government delivering that and the presidency delivering that will be a good moment for Portugal, I think. But it is indeed a very important moment described by Minister of the Presidency, Mariana Vieira da Silva, as the Council of Ministers also acknowledged the total elimination of all restrictive measures in place would come within the next 5 weeks. It's not a calendar we can define, she said. Otherwise, we would already have approved it. But it is the forecast the experts gave us, referring to reaching the target number of 20 deaths per 100,000 inhabitants over 14 days. She said, thus, to recap, still required for the time being are presentation of negative COVID digital certificates of recovery. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. Do excuse me, for access to old people's homes, hospitals and care facilities, the use of masks in indoor settings as they're currently required. I need some water. Shall I put a nice picture on while I choke here quietly? Or another video? Hold on. There you go. Back now. Did that wake anybody up? So just recap on that. Still required for the time being are the presentation of negative tests or digital COVID certificates of recovery for access to old people's homes, hospitals and care facilities. So presumably if you haven't got any of those and you go to hospital, you will have to be tested on arrival. They probably test you anyway, don't they, in hospital? I don't know, thankfully. And care facilities, and the use of masks in indoor settings as they are currently required. So that's in densely populated indoor areas, isn't it? The idea is, oh no, actually not just densely, of course. It is for, going into the restaurant, not while you're eating, going to the toilet, and coming back out or paying your bill. I think people have got quite used to that, haven't they, that charade? The idea is for the government to review the epidemiological situation every fortnight on the basis that forecasters' projections may come sooner than they think. Thank you very much, Natasha.Don at algarveresident.com. Okay, we're just winding down now, or are we winding up? I'm never sure at the end. I mean, we like a big finish, don't we? We like a big climax to the show. And you will, of course, be able to catch us at 10:30, me and the T-Duck at the Bubble Off Centre podcast. I want to make sure we've covered everything, though. If I've forgotten anything, not you included, Will, at this moment. See you at 10:30. Oh, thank you very much for Guess the Gumper picture, Justin. And who ended up guessing mine? I can't remember now. Who was it who ended up guessing Francis's picture? And that we are... Oh, no, that's a private message. Not a bad one. Oh, the road race. That's what I can go out with, because that is really exciting. And I think I've got 2 videos for that. You're going to hear a little bit of a preview of those sonically whilst I just get them ready for download, because I would like to do those probably after the closing credits. Videos, I think they're taking a while to load. Any nice plans for the weekend? For your bot? That's what we need, isn't it? That's what we need for the dad jokes, I think. And a trigger warning. Sorry if that again woke anybody up who was trying to have their first snooze of the day. I think that'll probably do it. That particular video there, from what I've heard so far. Thank you very much for that, Deagle. And thanks to everybody who's been sending fabulous pictures and images in, videos, everything. And thank you for the callers earlier on. We'll have to do that again, won't we? That was great fun when people were calling in to the show earlier on this week. Bon fin de semana a todos, then. We're getting around to this point, folks. Bon fin de semana a todos from Victoria. Don't forget to fondle that like button. Bon fin de semana, good gumpers, from Cindy B as well. And a thank you to Coach Turner. I haven't had any public pledges yet for anybody who wants to join in and go on the 5-module, 5-week course. We'll do it all together. I'm going to be doing it anyway. If you want to join me, drop me a line. It'd be great to have your company, and we will do it at your pace. and suited to you, not some crazy boot camp or spin class experience, or Boom Boom Brazil, whatever that is, as I saw at a fitness club here in Portugal. Mate, buy the piglets and feed them. Do your thing and eat them. All the best to all. Enjoy the weekend. All the best to you all. It's a bit of suckling pig advice, as well as a good wish for the weekend. Ian's still here. Look at this. Bless you. A pavement versus sand running. Training on sand is hard work, but can be less stressful on the joints. However, if you're in bare feet, start gently, as your feet are in a different position, but you'll end up with beautiful Brazilian calves by the sound of it. And speaking of masks, I wonder how long the mask litter will take to break down in the environment. My God, yes. I accidentally washed one and it was like new. What are those blue ones? And is it still as effective afterwards? I wonder. And I asked that with a tongue in my cheek. Free speech! A mask burning day. So more shouting as they limber up for the man cave tonight. Have a great day, my friends. I need to switch things over to the show. Ciao, ciao, y'all. From T-Duck. Join me and him at 10:30. Bon fin semana todos. Do you know what? I'm going to do these over the closing sequence. Okay. You've been very, very good. What a packed show. What's this final word then, Phil? Will. Thanks for putting up with me, Carl. Love you, buddy. Imagine I had been here every day harassing your channel. Love, love, love. Namaste. Yeah, all right, Will. Namaste. Love you too. Okay, we'll play the outro and I'll put all your final greetings over that and with a bonus at the end, bonus video at the end, everybody. Thanks to Deagle for that. Have a great weekend. Whatever you're doing, we'll be back on Monday, of course, with Tamakatan. A bit of a few gags, I suspect, and news of his Porto dates. And, of course, Migration Monday with the wonderful Gilda. Have a great weekend, my dear Gumper friends. Ciao for now. What? Wasn't meant to do that. You can have that again.
Not